As I mentioned, my name is Andy Stark. I'm the CTO of EasyRx and Jenmar. I've been doing lab management software for over 20 years. Today, we're going to talk about our VisualDLP dental laboratory management software. This is our third product that we've released in this industry. So this is a cloud-based version of our software. So there's no hardware to buy, no servers to install, no licensing, third-party licenses to purchase. We handle all the updates. We handle all your backups. We run on Microsoft Azure, and we have several servers running there for redundancy. So today, what you'll see on your screen right now is the dashboard of our order management module. And I would say this is about where 90% of your time in the software is spent. That's where you manage cases, where you manage your products, your doctors, invoicing, billing, and statements. What's on the screen right now is the dashboard, and this is the initial screen that loads when you log in. I will point out that we can hide the financial information from those who don't need to see it. So if you have data entry operators who don't need to see invoices and units a month, you can hide these values. So really all they would see at that point is the number of orders shipping today, open pickup requests, late orders, and then the order count graphs and active count. Just a little bit of navigation. On the left-hand side, you have the main menu. So each menu item expands, so you have sub-menus. From the main menu perspective, you've got orders, people, product management, finance, production, reports, settings. Supply chain is not visible. Generally, we don't have that for general availability right now. Kind of going from top or bottom up, you've got settings. This is where a lot of your setup data is located. What discounts are set up. You can set up discounts with default percentages, remake reasons. So if you're tracking remakes, you can put the reasons in, so you have reporting around remakes. Departments, this would be where you want department revenue to be allocated to. Product types, same thing. You can break down products into types, so you can see how many units have come in, how your revenue is being broken up by product type. Specialty type allows you to specify the doctor's specialty in their record, so you can see revenue by specialty type. Payment types, these are in addition to, there's two default types, which are credit card and check. But then you can also add ACH or EFT. Maybe you're doing credit card processing outside of the software, so you can set that up as well as a payment type for reporting purposes. And then a few others under here. Alerts would be who gets emailed on certain types of activity in the software. The alerts themselves, like whenever a new file is uploaded or a case message has been created or a new pickup request. So these are system default alerts, statement generation, batch invoice errors, new orders entered. So there is an alerting system built in to let you know when certain things happen. And under my user settings, we've got your current login email address, so you can update that for password resets. This is the email address associated with your login. A couple other things that we do. We've got a program called QZ Tray that we implemented in the software. This helps you print directly to printers on your network. So a lot of times web applications, the printing experience feels a little clunky unless you have some way to print directly to your printers. And so that's what we've done here. We've set up default printers for your invoice, work ticket, statement, custom reports, and account adjustments and payment receipts. So you can come in and set these up once and not have to think about it. So those are the settings. Then we have our reports. We have several dozen reports available: account analysis, department sales, open transactions, sales tax reports, payment register. Under orders, there are even more. You've got department sales, orders on hold, product analysis reports, remake reasons. So we've got a long history of writing reports for dental labs, and so we've put some canned reports in that we feel like most labs are going to want to get started with. And this just gives you a starting place. Now, we can customize reports. So one of the services we offer is to copy a report that's in the standard report library, and we can make changes to it as you need. We also customize your work ticket, statement, and invoice to your needs. So if you have a design you're using for your invoice or your statement or work ticket, we can create that as part of the onboarding and use your logo, your information, your design, and get exactly what you want out of the software. A new addition we've added is an email log. This will tell you which emails have been sent out, whether they've been opened, delivered, sent, delivered, or opened. And so this would be things like statement emails. If you invite users internally to different parts of the software, you'll see when it was sent and when it was opened. Okay. Under the people reports, we've got employees' activities that they scanned. So technician scans, we use barcoding. We have time clock reports. There are several, time clock versions depending on how you do overtime or payroll. We can customize these reports to your particular overtime requirements. All right. Then moving up the list, we've got production. We have activities. So these are things that the technicians do in the lab to complete products. So this is set up by you. We can give you a starting point, but we do like to walk you through this process so you know what's going on in your lab. These are thought of as milestones in the lab. So you may have like milling, investment, porcelain build, porcelain model, different tasks that the technicians do. And then what we do is we take these tasks and we turn them into workflows. So here we have we'll just take this PFM workflow, schedule, unpack, pour, model, articulate, wax up, invest, opaque. So these are the steps that you use to create these products. So you see we've got the PFM non-porcelain, high noble. This looks like just demo data, but the idea is that you build a workflow, and so you can see this total production days is 5, and on the left-hand side of each task you see how many days are allocated. Then you see the schedule order on the right-hand side. So the total allocated days of production are 5. So we have 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So 5 production days in this order. Then we assign the products that use that workflow. And you see all our PFM products use that workflow. So that'll just kind of keep that in mind when we get into order entry. You'll see how that kind of fits together. But we're just kind of going through the setup. So above production, we have finance. This is where you set up taxes. This is where your accounts are set up. So an account in our system is the practice or company that you're billing. Is different than the doctor. And so that's a difference in our system and a lot of systems out there, is that we have accounts and doctors. So if I were to come in here and look at, Dr. Clark Adams, I can see the personal information about Clark Adams, license number, doctor search key, email address. Then if I go to billing account, I see there's a demo account here. And so if I click on demo account, that takes me to the billing account, and you can see the account balance. You see phone number information, address information, financial status in terms of current 30, 60, 90, account settings. This is where you would set up their price list, the default discount, finance charge, what route this account is on. Now you can override the route based on an address. So if I flip back over here to addresses, you can have multiple delivery addresses for an account, and yet they may have different routes. But the important thing to remember here is that an account and a doctor are two different records in our system. And the reason we did that is because there are a lot of billing relationships that your, especially DSOs and group practices, ask you to meet. And it does require you to have the ability to bill multiple accounts, or I'm sorry, multiple doctors into one account, or one doctor may have multiple accounts. So it just depends on what they're asking you to do. So also under finances, we set up taxes. If you have to collect taxes in your delivery area, we can set those up. We perform payments under finance, adjustments. So these are accounts like credits and debits. And then we perform statements here as well. So when we do statements, basically you pick the accounts you're running statements for. It defaults to anybody that had activity in a month. And then you generate the statements, and then they're available to download, print. You can also email statements out. So if I wanted to email, the 2021-05 would be May statements from the year 2021. So we call that the accounting period. And from here, I can send the emails out to anyone who has an email set up. So here's the account name on the left-hand side. In the middle here, you've got the emails that are set up for statements. And then here I could select everybody that we want to send the email to, and then send the email out. And then we also have when it was sent, did it get delivered, and also whether they opened it or not. So we can track whether the statement email was actually opened by your account. Which is important. If they called you and said, hey, you never sent me a statement, you actually can see that it was in fact opened here. All right, and then a couple other things. We can see if it was blocked by spam filter or if it didn't get delivered. All right, so just moving up, products are really the things you sell to your doctors. So we'll go back here. I'll just search for that PFM. If I open this PFM High Mobile, I can see the name of the product, the description. We call this the alpha code. It's just used in data entry. What department does this product belong to? Several variables here, like is it active? Variable price means can we change the price at data entry? If you can't change the price at data entry, then it uses the default price that comes off each price list. And you can set up as many price lists in the software as you'd like. So those of you who need to maintain different price lists for different types of customers, you can do that. Speaking of price lists, this is where all your price lists are set up. So here I can have, 2021 default price. The nice thing is you can clone a price list. And when you clone it, you give it a new name, you can do a % increase, and you can tell it how do you want to round. So you don't have these weird, half dollars or half, weird cents. You can round to the nearest dime, quarter, half dollar, or dollar. All right, finally, we get under people. This is where your employees are. So you're going to have people with usernames. You're going to have technicians that don't have usernames. Technicians would be people out there in the lab. They would just have a PIN number to access the software. They don't see all this. They have their own interface for interacting with the software where they can clock in, they can scan work that they've done, they can read doctor preferences, they can see the work ticket. Any files that are attached to a case, they have access to them. So, and then we talked about doctors already. This is where all your doctors are set up, and you open one of these doctors up. You've got their first name, last name, description, license number. Is it a prospect? Are they at risk? Are they VIP? Mentioned specialty type. You can select the specialty type here. Billing accounts we talked about. This is what they bill into. Events, you can set up events to be reminded of. If you wanted to call a doctor after their first 10 cases, you can do that. Maybe you just want to follow up with the doctor, you can set that up in here. And that would show up on this calendar, this doctor event calendar up here. Special pricing, if the doctor wanted to, if you negotiated a special price on a product, you can set that up under special pricing. So they would get this off the main price list instead of the main default price. And then work instructions are really done at the activity. So those tasks or the product level. So if the doctor says, whenever you do a PFM high noble, I want you to make sure you do this. You can come in and put this instruction down. So PFM for high noble. Okay. So that would go in. You can also add a global instruction. So this global instruction would be for all cases. So every time you enter a case for this doctor, this instruction would print on the work ticket. Okay. So finally, let's talk about orders. So all the buildup you've gone through, we get now to the order information. So if I click order entry, I'm going to see all the cases I've ever had in the system. You can see that there's been statuses: it's invoiced, ordered, in production, out to doctor. There's another status called on hold. So if I were to just type on hold up here to do a search, I can see all the cases that are on hold in the software. So you can add search parameters. So if I want to say, give me all the cases on hold for, Dr. Josh. So if I click that, it's going to search. I'm going to see all the cases that are on hold for anyone related to Josh. So I've got a Josh in the patient name. So it returns that just so you can be sure. You can do the same thing with other statuses. So if I want to see all the invoiced cases for Dr. Josh, and whatever you add into this search field will. So if I typed, testing, now I get just Josh testing. So finding cases is pretty straightforward. Once you have this list open, you can just click this I to see, what did we do? So it was a night guard and a full denture. It was invoiced on, 5/6. Or I can click any part of that text and it'll open the order up. So then we'll see the doctor, the account, the patient information, the products, what tooth number it was on, the quantity. We'll see the total charge up here. If I wanted to view the invoice, I could just click view invoice, and that's going to pop up, the full invoice on here. So like I said, we customize invoices to each lab. So whatever you'd like to see done here, we can do. So that's one form we do. The other one is the work ticket. So if I click view work ticket, this is an example of a pretty simple work ticket. You just have a barcode, the date, case number, when it was received, who's the doctor, where is it going to be delivered to, what's the case description, doctor instructions here. So if there are any case-specific instructions or doctor preferences. If I look at schedule detail, this kind of drills down into, so we did a night guard and we did a full denture. Looks like we used the workflow 9 business day. And so it looks like these are the steps that we use to build that night guard. Under shipping, if you want to integrate with UPS, we can come in here and I can choose the shipping. Well, this case has already been invoiced, so I can't ship it. You have to ship it before it's been invoiced. Let's go to another one. So here I would just select, actually I may not have, I don't think I have UPS services set up under this account. You can generate the shipping label directly from the software. So by selecting the service, putting the dimensions in, and you can default these in global settings, we can actually generate the shipping label right here, and it would be emailed. You could print it from the software, and then you would email the tracking number to this delivery address here. So we'd use this address and then generate the tracking number and the shipping label. And then you can also track the package from here. There'll be a tracking number button added, and you can track the package from the software. Under the Files tab, this would be any files that have been attached to the case. These are available to the technicians. So once you've attached a file here in the technician interface, I'll show you that in a moment. You can actually log in and see that from a technician's perspective. Notes and designs, so you can add case notes in here. So anytime you add a note, this is a production note, save that, and that will be added to the case. And then if I look at the work ticket, that note will print on the work ticket. Another nice feature is we have history, an audit history. So anytime changes are made to a case, let's take this invoice case. I think we might have made some changes to it. I click on history. So the order was created on July 19th. You can see what the default values were for the due date, ship date, status. Here you can see it was scheduled, then it was invoiced. So anytime you make any changes to a case, they will be logged in the history of that case. So if I were to go in and change the unit price or change the products, that would be logged in the system as well. All right. One thing I didn't mention is that if you have any questions, feel free to just ask or send me a message in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on the chat window, so if you do have any questions, feel free to type it or just ask it. There's only 3 of us on here today, or 4 of us, so don't hesitate at all. You'll notice that this is saying the account is COD. So brick dentistry, if I were to go to finance and accounts, I look at brick dentistry, there's a flag under account settings that tells me this is a COD account. So it flags you at the data entry that COD. We also have a purchase number field. So if you were working with an institution that gives you a PO number, we can print that out on the work ticket or invoice or statement. A couple other things, you've got an order entry note. So what I want to do, it just says test note, and there's also an invoicing note. So I'll show you how that plays out. If I were to go in and enter a new case, I'll choose Dr. Brick, and you'll see that's our order entry note. So it just reminds you of something about this account to keep track of. A couple icons here tells me that there are multiple accounts for this doctor. So if I were to click this drop down, I see there's Brick Dentistry West and then Brick Dentistry. So this doctor has 2 locations. Now within this account, there are multiple addresses too. So I can pick the shipping address that's appropriate for this case. All right. So then I'll put in the patient name, my name here, PAN number, A123, shade A2. You'll notice that when I'm typing, it automatically capitalizes. That's something that data entry operators have asked for, that just saves them one little keystroke. When do they want this case back in the office? Let's say July 30th. A couple products have automatically popped up. These are just called tag-alongs. They automatically get added to the case based on the doctor we selected. So that could be like what their default metal would be. Could be a shipping charge, but I'm just going to delete those so we can add. We'll just add our PFM High Noble. You'll notice that our schedule automatically appears. Our unit price appears. So we're going to change that. You'll notice there's a friends and family discount that appears as well of 25%. And a tag-along product for the PFM appeared. So there's a printed model charge here. So I'll save that. And what the system's going to do now is schedule this order based on the workflow we selected, that 9 business days. So we have unpack, pour model, articulate, wax up. Now it's telling me this case is going to be late. Looks like there's a big gap between QC and outsource here. Probably somebody messing with this schedule, but it does warn you when you have that situation. So now at this point, we would just print the work ticket, send the case off into production. There's some notes and preferences up here, pick up here. So there's a a step articulate in the schedule right here. This doctor has a specific instruction for that activity, articulate. There's also a instruction for wax up, and then the doctor has a doctor instruction probably for the PFM product here. So this is order number 2502. I'm going to go to the launch pad and show you what this looks like from the technician's perspective. So I'm going to log in to the employee interface. And choose employee. I'm going to choose one of our technicians' names here, put their PIN number in. And a couple of things they can do here, they can clock in or out. So I'm able to clock in for the day. Now it's telling me that I miss some clock outs, so I can't clock in actually. So I'd have to go get the administrator to fix that. But what I want to do is I want to look up order number 2502, and I can see the schedule. Anything that's in green here, I'm able to do. Like I can't schedule it, I can't articulate, wax up. I'm doing the model, the contour, and stay in place. I can also look at the notes and preferences that are on the case for the doctor, and I can click on files to see, which, if any files like images or STLs have been added to this case, at data entry. So if I were to come in here and complete this activity, this one and this one, my name would now be next to, so if we go back to the launch pad, they do require, we require a password to leave this because we don't want technicians just to leave it and not have this set up for the next technician to scan. So it does require them to scan, put a password in order to leave the dashboard. So if we go back to the order we entered there from the order management module and look at order 2502. Under the schedule, you'll see the name of Alex Leon listed there because he completed those 3 steps. Okay. I'm going to pause for a minute. Any questions about anything you wanted to see in the software that I haven't covered yet, or to ask if it can do? Happy to take any questions. Okay. Well, as these cases come up for billing, it's simply a matter of going to things you can do and invoice this order. So when you invoice, there's an account invoicing note that pops up. So you just proceed to invoice. The case now gets billed out at $92.25 because there's our 123 plus our 25% discount. And we would just then print the invoice, and at the end of the month, we would come in and generate statements for all the accounts. And on the statement, we'll pull up Brick Dentistry here. So under finance, I can generate them all in a batch, but I can also come in here and look at one statement at a time. If I were to, the doctor was to call and say, hey, can you send me my current statement? It's just a matter of coming in here and pulling that statement up. And you see this is a 3-page statement. You have all the invoices, invoice numbers, patient name, and then the charge associated with each invoice. And then at the bottom, you would have a total. A lot of times we would put the aging across the bottom so they can see what their aging balance looks like. We do also allow you to do credit cards through the software, so you can enter a credit card number in for the doctor, and that is stored in our credit card processor's vault. So we don't actually store their credit card number, we just store a pointer to it. And so it's not, you don't have to worry about any kind of fraud or misuse of the cards. Once you put them in, no one has access to them. If you look at prior statements, if they ask for their prior statement to be sent to them again, you can go into prior statements, and from here, it just takes a moment to load because I think there's a long history on this account. I can come in, I can either download it, print it, or email any of these statements from the past. So we retain all this data for it. So that is really a high-level overview of the software. Again, it's all cloud-based. We do have an onboarding project that we have that we set up with you. It really starts from the day that you sign your agreement with us. We do import data from your current system. So we have templates that we use to import account and product price list data. So you don't have to start from scratch. Then we design your invoice, work ticket, and statement, upload that, and let you validate it. And then from there, we schedule onboarding training. We cover account, product, and doctor management, workflow, activity setup, payments, adjustment statements. And then there's a period where you practice and verify everything. Once you're comfortable with that, we set a go live date. We import your transferred balances or set your balances manually. There's two different ways to do it. And then once that's done, we complete an AR worksheet to make sure everything balances from your old system. And then you're up and running in the software. So we have a very well thought out process for getting you up and running, training you, and that's included in our onboarding and training process. Okay. So that about covers it. Unless there are questions, happy to take those. If not, I encourage you to reach out to me personally if you have any more. You can call our main number, which is on our website. Pull that up real quick. If you go to jenmarinternational.com, there's our main number here at the top. If you'd like to schedule more, if you have some follow-up questions, we can go over that. Our plans and pricing are also located here. So you can see our basic plan. And we don't charge per user or module. It's basically $195 per month, and then that's for up to 250 cases. And then we have other plans that go up from there. And we do have also a list of the modules and what they do here. So we talked about the order management module and the employee interface, but there are other modules that's available as well. But you can get access to our pricing. We have a support portal here if you'd like to poke around in there to see. If you go under knowledge base, and there is under update information, 2021 VisualDLP update. You can see all the updates we released every month. So we try to do about 2 updates per month, and you can see all the things that we've been doing through here. So again, we take care of all the updates and backups for you, so you don't have to call in to get this update. It just comes to you. Well, I want to appreciate everyone so I want to thank everyone. I appreciate your time today. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can chat with us online here, or email, or call us, whichever is more convenient for you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.